You're listening to the Play Therapy Podcast with Dr. Brenna Hicks, your source for centered and focused play therapy coaching.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brenna Hicks, the Kid Counselor. This is the Play Therapy Podcast, where you get a masterclass in child-centered play therapy and practical support and application for your work with children and their families. Today's episode, we are continuing with the Art of the Session series, and we are on the fourth and final pillar today, and that is encouragement. I'm going to throw in esteem-building as a bonus freebie because they're related. They are a little bit distinct and separate, but they work in tandem and they serve the same outcome. So I'm going to throw in esteem-building responses in there just so that you kind of have a sense of how you can incorporate that as well. But the pillar itself is encouragement. And we've covered the other three pillars, leading up to this point, and we're going to finish that out today. Keep in mind, this is part of the greater 11 things that you should be saying in the playroom. And so these 4 pillars are 4 of those 11, 7 others. We've covered quite a few before this, and then we will have quite a few after this. All right, so let's talk about why encouragement is important first and foremost, and then we'll dive into some other specifics. Encouragement is designed to help a child believe in him or herself. And what it does is it communicates to the child, I have confidence in you. I believe in you. I know that you're capable. I trust that you will figure it out. However, if we were to say those things, and let me pause here because many of us do. Many of us, CCPT trained, CCPT adherent, or at least adherence seeking. Many, I watch it all the time on play sessions. Many of us say, I can see that, I can tell, I know, I believe, I trust. We should not say I in a playroom hardly ever. Almost always what we say to a child is you. And you will notice that encouragement phrases begin with you. So we're going to get to that in a second when we talk about the process. But that is the implication when we encourage a child. It's all of those I's. I trust, I know, I believe, I can tell, I think, I feel, all of those things. But we're not going to say that. We're going to say you. And what happens is the child starts to believe those things. Let's circle back to self-fulfilling prophecy. We've talked about that quite a bit. Let's talk about the Pygmalion effect. Why? Because what a child receives is what a child eventually adopts as self-concept. Looking glass self. I know we've talked about that before too. And by the way, if you're new, hi, welcome. So glad you're here. If you have no reference for me saying Pygmalion effect, looking glass self, self-fulfilling prophecy, if these are phrases you've never heard before, we have talked about these in earlier episodes. So please go back and listen in order from the beginning. And if you are not familiar with those terms and you have been listening for a long time, or maybe you have listened and you've just forgotten or you don't really know exactly what I'm talking about, please search that up. I can't get into that today or this podcast will be really long. But what I'm trying to communicate is a child's sense of who they are and a child's running dialogue about themselves, their self-concept. It comes from what they absorb from others. So if we consistently encourage a child, their self-esteem builds. Their self-construct changes. They believe that they can like themselves. They believe that they can trust themselves. They believe that they can accept themselves. They believe that they are capable, confident humans. This is what encouragement does. So I'm trying to make sure as we go through these skills that it's not just, this is what you should say. This is what you should do. This is how you should say it. It's what is the outcome tied to this skill? When we encourage a child, what are we anticipating is going to happen? We could get really hung up on making sure we encourage, but the product of the encouragement is actually what is at the heart of this. It's means to an end. And therefore, when we encourage kids, if we use esteem-building phrases, we know it is helping them develop that universal outcome of increased self-confidence. And let me pause here because this is actually an illustration that I use in parent consultations a lot. And so I'm going to throw this out there because it not only illustrates the point that I'm talking about here, but you can absolutely use it in your PCs if you think that would be helpful. What I often describe to parents is that kids are at a point in their lives when things have been very out of control, when they've had no power, when they've gone through a lot, when they've dealt with a lot, they start to go, oh no, what if? Oh no, I can't handle this. Oh no, this isn't okay. Oh gosh, I have to avoid this. Oh no, that can't happen again. And therefore, that line of thinking, that internal dialogue, not only does it produce high levels of anxiety, but it also produces fear. And therefore, they're saying, I can't do this. I'm not equipped. I can't handle this. And the byproduct is I'm a victim and I'm at the mercy of my circumstances. So whatever happens to me, I just have to suffer through it. So the circumstances dictate outcome and I'm a victim. What happens when we encourage? What happens when a child develops self-esteem? When there's an increase in self-acceptance and self-reliance and all of those things, now all of a sudden, here's what happens instead. So this is what we've painted for a parent. Kids go, oh no, what if? Oh no, I can't take it. Oh no, that can't happen. That's the diatribe. Then eventually it becomes, I hope X doesn't happen, but I'll be okay. I really don't want Y to happen, but I'll figure it out. Oh, yeah, that would not be good if that happened, but I'm confident that I can handle it. And now all of a sudden, their internal dialogue shifts to, I'm capable, I'm competent, I'm confident, I trust myself, I accept things for what they are because I know that no matter what, I'll be fine. So I not only share that with parents in consultations, but this is why encouragement matters so much. So now that we've kind of looked at that, I want to spend a brief few seconds, probably be a few minutes actually, but brevity is not my greatest strength, but a few minutes maybe, on praise. I don't want to dive into praise because we should never absolute on purpose praise anyone really, but specifically kids. However, we need to understand the difference. So if you have no awareness of praise versus encouragement, I'm going to give you a real fast 1-minute crash course. Praise is value laden. Praise is always about our evaluation of what's going on. So good job means I think you did a good job. You're awesome means I think you're awesome. You're amazing. That's so pretty. I think those things. It turns all the focus to the praiser. And ironically, many people who praise think that praise and encouragement are basically synonyms. When I ask that to groups of people, when I speak or do workshops or whatever, when I say, okay, what's the difference between praise versus encouragement? Oh, they're basically the same thing. They are 100% polar opposites. Because praise is value laden, meaning it has an opposite. If you say good job, you could say bad job. If you say it's pretty, you could say it's ugly. There's always a value laden word associated, and it is what my view, my evaluation of what's going on. We steer clear as to the best of our ability. It is hard because especially if you are used to praising and or you've come from the academic and education systems, you are going to be a chronic praiser likely, and it is hard to rewire your brain and your tongue. So we try to the best of our ability to eliminate value-laden words specifically, but praise from our playrooms. And encouragement never is evaluative. Why? Because it is focused on effort and contribution. It's never about outcome. It's never about what is accomplished. It's about what the child's efforts are or what contributions they're making. And therefore, it is the antidote to what kids are getting everywhere else. Teachers praise them, parents praise them, coaches praise them. Every adult in a child's world praises them. Even the erasers that they get in school, even the certificates that they're given, even the trophies that they receive, even whatever, it's all praise. So we are pretty much the only hope for humanity, if you will, in the praise versus encouragement fight, because a CCPT playroom is probably the only person in place where a child's going to get encouragement instead. And a kid that is praised is going to be crippled by needing someone else to provide their value and worth. Nothing I do is good if you don't tell me that I did good job. This picture is not pretty if you don't tell me that it's pretty and that you like it. And we see this all the time. How many times does a kid go in the playroom? Do you like it? Is it good? Is it pretty? Yeah, but what do you think? Yeah, but do you like it? But isn't it, but is it nice? But do you like it? But they're like jonesing. It's like praise addiction. They're jonesing for someone to validate them, to give them and assign value and worth. Encouragement helps a child to say, I'm proud of this. I know that I worked hard. I'm pleased with the outcome. I'm satisfied because I did it, or at least I tried, or I worked at it for a while. That's enough for me. And this is what encouragement does to change the script of needing the evaluative statements for your worth and your value. This is why self-esteem comes from encouragement. So I hope you can see how all these are connecting together like little connects. All right, so let's talk about encouragement for a second. You are going to start with the word you, as I mentioned before, and you're going to validate the effort and the contribution. Encouragement is almost always given after whatever they were working on. So they stack blocks, they coordinate the pieces of the game, they figure out how to put the dart in the gun, they get a bullseye, whatever it is, they jump rope 5 times, all the options of what goes on in a play session. You're going to use an encouragement phrase. You did it. You got it. You figured it out. You knew what to do. You worked hard. Those are encouragement phrases. Notice they all start with you. Notice that it is not about outcome. You can say you worked hard even when the tower falls. You can say you worked hard when they get 5 jump ropes, but they wanted to get 10. Well, not jump ropes. They jumped 5 times with the jump rope, but they wanted to jump 10 times. See how it's not about the outcome. So that's how the encouragement piece comes in. Now I'm going to throw in the bonus freebie, the esteem building responses. Often these are during the activity, and therefore you can use them in hybrids. It's really easy to make these into combos where you esteem build and encourage in one fell swoop. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So as the child is actively loading the gun, trying to jump rope, trying to organize the pieces, trying to stack the blocks, you have a plan. You're not giving up. You're trying that way. You're solving it a different way. You're coming up with a strategy. You're thinking about how to do that. Now, all of a sudden, while they're in the midst of it, you're esteem building. Because what you're communicating is, I see all of what's going into this, regardless of what happens. Then, at the end of it, whether it's successful or not, again, it's not tied to outcome. So you're going to esteem build, and then you say, you got it. You did it. You figured it out. Or if things do not work out, ideally, you can say, you kept trying. You'll figure it out. It can be futuristic. You'll figure it out. Oh, you did not give up. You worked hard on that. You'll get it. Okay, so see how there's a really easy way to fuse these together. And the moral of encouragement and esteem building is that the child has a voice consistently communicating verbally the opposite of what they often feel, which is, I can't, I'm incapable, I'm incompetent, I don't know how to do this, I should just give up, I should ask for help, learned helplessness, this isn't worth it, I'm not good at anything, I always screw up, I can never accomplish the things that I want. That's often what's going through kids' minds. And we are providing a different perspective. That's in a long, long episode ago, I talked about the word yet, the power of the word yet. This is one of those scenarios where yet is able to be woven in. So, oh, you haven't figured that out yet, but you're not giving up. You didn't stack it 10 high yet, but you'll do it. Yet works really helpfully in tandem with encouragement and esteem building phrases because there's implication there. Just because it's not in this moment doesn't mean it will never be. And it's always about the child is capable. And they don't believe that when they start often, but they get there eventually. So there is your fourth pillar of encouragement. Hopefully that makes sense and you can see how the four pillars together. So when we reflect feelings, when we provide choices, when we encourage, and then if we have to set limits, you can see how there is structure and framework to the pillars and their execution and what they're doing for the child. It's building emotional vocabulary and IQ. It's equipping with responsibility and helping a child practice making decisions. It's helping a child feel more positively about themselves, building self-confidence, and it's providing safety within the relationship so that there's security so that they can do the work that they need to do. All of that together is exactly what allows children to self-actualize. So I hope that you're tracking with me. I think so. All right, couple of thoughts before we wrap up. First of all, if you are thinking about it and or you've already planned to go to the APT conference in Houston in October, I will be there. Details to come, but I'm planning a meetup for podcast listeners. So if you are thinking about going to Houston for the conference and or you are already planning to go, in the show notes in an upcoming episode, we don't have details solidified yet, so it won't be on this episode, but very soon you'll have the opportunity to RSVP, sign up. We'll be able to hang out and spend time together. That's one of my favorite things is hanging out with all of you. So if you're going to be around or if you're within driving distance of Houston, you don't even have to be at the conference. If you can get yourself to Houston, I would love to hang out with you and we'll be around our tribe and it's always so much fun. So details to follow. I promise we'll give you updates there. And then last thought, I was thinking about the parenting podcast. We looked at downloads today and just to celebrate with you and because of you, we hit 700,000 downloads on the clinical podcast today. And the listenership of the parenting podcast is through the roof right now, more than y'all. I never thought I would say that. Y'all are like my count on listeners, but no joke. Parents are listening to the parenting podcast now in higher amounts than the clinical podcast. And what that tells me is not only are parents so hungry for help and they're so hungry for strategies that are actually effective and developmentally appropriate and kind, which CCPT is all those things. But that means that you all are supporting parents and giving them podcast episodes and providing resources to them. So thank you for your partnership. I've been doing the parenting podcast for almost 10 years now, and it has never had the investment and the engagement that it does now. And it's a big thanks to you. So thank you for 700,000 downloads on the clinical side, but thank you also for sending parents to the parenting podcast. And your part of helping them one-on-one is so crucial. They trust you, they know you, they like you, they have a relationship with you. You are the therapeutic side of the journey for them. And then you're partnering with me to provide the resources and the support from another avenue. So I'm very, very grateful. And I wanted you all to know that so you can celebrate. CCPT is not only making a difference for us as therapists, it's making a difference for our kids with whom we work, obviously, but it's also making a difference for parents. And this is how it all comes together. And I'm really grateful to y'all. Love you. We'll talk again soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Play Therapy Podcast with Dr. Brenna Hicks. For more episodes and resources, please go to www.playtherapypodcast.com.